So good morning friends, welcome to Raj Malhotra IAS. So guys, the PDF for today's session has already been uploaded on our Telegram group. You can download the PDF from there. The PDF for today's session has already been uploaded on our Telegram group. So you can download that PDF from there. Okay, so here we are about to start. Here we are about to start. Rohit, Mohit, Nandini, good morning everyone. Okay. So let's start the session. Let's see what exactly is there for us in today's newspaper. So first we are going to take up this statement by Steve Jobs. He's saying that because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. This is the most important lesson that we have to learn here. Okay, so basically it all depends upon your thought process. You have to think differently from others. You have to take risk in your life. Okay, you have to think differently from others. You have to take risk in your life, and if you have the potential to do that, you will be the one who will be making change in the society. This is the point here. Okay, so those who can think differently are the ones who are going to make changes in the society. जो कुछ अलग सोच सकते हैं वही लोग सोसाइटी के अंदर चेंज भी ला सकते हैं. दिस इज द पॉइंट हियर. एंड स्टीव जॉब्स, देर आर नो, यू कैन से लाइक वर्ड्स आर नॉट सफिशिएंट टू explain his personality. He was that kind of a person. So you have to be crazy about things. Okay, you have to have that madness. That's the important point here. So people may be commenting on you that ऐसा नहीं हो सकता, it is not possible, this and that. There is no need to think about that. Think about your goal and think about the execution part. Okay, आपका फोकस सिर्फ एग्जीक्यूशन के ऊपर होना चाहिए और अपने गोल के ऊपर होना चाहिए. That's the point here. Your vision should be on your goal, and your, you can say, eyes should be on the path, because path will decide whether you will be able to reach your goal or not. विजन आपको अपने दिमाग में एक गोल की रखनी है और साथ साथ अपनी नजर, अपनी आंखें कहीं ना कहीं आपको रास्ते पे बना के रखनी है. दैट्स द इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट हियर. सो हियर यू हैव ऑलरेडी डिसाइडेड दैट यूपीएससी इज द गोल फॉर यू, and now goal is decided. That's the vision that you have in your mind. That's the outlook that you will have in your mind. हमेशा आपके दिमाग में रहेगा. But along with that, you need to have focus on the path. Preparation is your path. Okay, preparation is your path. How effectively you are carrying out your preparation, that is going to decide. Okay, आप कितनी अच्छे तरीके से अपनी preparation करते हैं, that is going to decide whether you will be able to reach to your goal or not. क्या आप अपने goal को reach करेंगे कि नहीं करेंगे. This is the important point that we have to understand here. Okay, so preparation along with the vision, that's the important point. You have already set a goal for you. आपको बिल्कुल clarity है आपके दिमाग में goal क्या है. अब बात है रास्ते के ऊपर फोकस करने के लिए. सो नाउ यू हैव टू फोकस ऑन द पाथ दैट इज गोइंग टू डिसाइड वेदर यू विल बी एबल टू अचीव योर गोल और नॉट. दिस इज द पॉइंट, एंड एग्जीक्यूशन इज द की. वट एवर यू आर डूइंग, आप जो कुछ भी कर रहे हो अपनी लाइफ के अंदर, इन वट एवर रोल यू आर राइट नाउ, एग्जीक्यूशन विल लेड टू योर गोल. दोज हु विल इम्प्लीमेंट थिंग्स, सिर्फ वही लाइफ में आगे जा सकते हैं जो चीजों को इम्प्लीमेंट करते हैं. देर आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ पीपल. देर विल बी पीपल हु विल जस्ट बी सिटिंग एंड टॉकिंग, सिर्फ बैठ के बातें करेंगे और कुछ नहीं करेंगे. ठीक है ना. दे डोंट मेक एफर्ट देमसेल्व्स. खुद वो कोई एफर्ट नहीं मारते हैं. देर इज नो सेल्फ एफर्ट फ्रॉम देम. ओके, एंड दे हैव दिस विजन कि भी आप वो बैठ के दूसरों से काम करवा सकते हैं, बट वो किसी काम के नहीं होते खुद. दिस इज द पॉइंट दैट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. जो बैठ के बात करते हैं और काम नहीं करते हैं वो खुद किसी काम के नहीं होते. देर विल बी टाइम वेयर देयर वल्नरेबिलिटीज आर एक्सपोज्ड. उनकी वल्नरेबिलिटी एक्सपोज होती ही होती हैं. यू हैव टू जस्ट वेट फॉर द क्राइसिस टाइम. The person who has the potential, the person who has worked upon his capacity will be able to deal with any type of crisis in the life. That's the point here. तो आप अपनी कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग के ऊपर फोकस कीजिए. focus on the capacity building so that in whatever area you will go you will remain unstoppable because you will have that confidence. अगर कुछ भी लाइफ में नहीं हो रहा होगा तब भी आप कुछ ना कुछ अपने लिए निकाल लोगे. This is the point that you have to understand. That's why we have to put emphasis on the capacity building of the self, knowledge. ये सारी चीजें जरूरी है एंड दिस इज व्हाट इज रिक्वायर्ड इवन टू क्लियर दिस यूपीएससी एग्जाम एज वेल. इस यूपीएससी एग्जाम को क्लियर करने के लिए भी यही आउटलुक, यही विजन चाहिए. दिस इज द पॉइंट दैट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. सो ये पॉइंट हमें समझना था यहाँ पे. ओके, सो विल मूव टू द यू कैन से मेजर न्यूज सेशन नाउ. आगे चलते हैं, देखते हैं क्या है आज की अखबार में हमारे लिए क्या खास है. सो हेमंत सोरेन विंस द ट्रस्ट वोट. ओके, सो दिस वाज like this is what going to happen, and yesterday I mentioned about the trust vote and other process. Okay, so it's a constitutional system that is there. ये constitutional system है. Okay, the person who forms the government have to prove the majority, and that majority is called, that proving activity is called trust vote, and this is carried out on the floor of the house. Okay, floor of the house के ऊपर ये चीज की जाती है. ठीक है जी. So this is how things were. This is how things were. Truss win the conservative race to be the UK's next prime minister. Okay, so UK is going to get another prime minister, Liz Truss. She is the one. So this is how things are, and we have to wait for her policies, how she will be like modulating the policies in United Kingdom right now. So we will definitely keep a close watch on her, that इनकी क्या priorities रहती हैं, what are the like things that she will be prioritizing and all those things. Okay, so this is how things are. Now heavy rain batters IT park, arterial roads in Bengaluru. Now this is a major problem. This is, you can say, second time it is happening in a week. पूरे वीक में दूसरी बार ऐसा हो रहा है, एंड दिस एक्सपोज द problem of urban flooding. Okay, so urban flooding is a major problem, and it is not just confined to Bengaluru. You can say that Mumbai, every day, every year Mumbai experiences this type of flooding, but it is now going on the Bengaluru and other cities as well. Even Delhi, like 2 years back there was issue in Delhi. Chennai floods are quite popular. Okay, so this is how things have turned up. This is how things have turned up. Now the point I would like to make here, जो चीज हम यहाँ पे डिस्कस करना चाहते हैं वो ये कि भी why it is developing into urban flooding, why are we facing this problem of urban flooding at all, क्यों ये urban flooding की problem हमें आ रही है. So here you have to understand there are few things that we have to look into. First of all, like there is overburdened drainage system that is there. The drainage system that we have established in these cities are appearing to be inadequate. Okay, inadequate in the sense the drainage system was constructed like quite back, बहुत टाइम पहले ड्रेनेज सिस्टम बनाया गया था, एंड दैट ड्रेनेज सिस्टम हैज नॉट बीन अपडेटेड. कहीं ना कहीं वो ड्रेनेज सिस्टम आपने अपडेट नहीं किया है, एंड दैट्स द प्रॉब्लमेटिक पार्ट है. ओके, सो वहीं से ही प्रॉब्लम जो है वो स्टार्ट हो जाती है. सो यू हैव टू अपडेट योर, अपग्रेड योर ड्रेनेज सिस्टम. यू कैन नॉट वर्क अपॉन विद द, यू कैन से, ओल्ड ड्रेनेज सिस्टम. आप पुराने ड्रेनेज सिस्टम से काम नहीं चला सकते हो. दिस इज द पॉइंट हियर. Now other point is this: no regard to the natural topography and hydrogeomorphology all make urban flood a man-made disaster. तो कहीं ना कहीं ये man-made disaster है, because we have carried out uncontrolled, okay, we have carried out uncontrolled urbanization. That's the problem here. कहीं ना कहीं that is responsible for this. आपने अनकंट्रोल्ड अर्बनाइजेशन किया है और वो कहीं ना कहीं रिस्पॉन्सिबल है इस चीज के लिए. ओके, व्हाट हैव वी डन, what exactly have we done when I'm saying that uncontrolled urbanization? Okay, so we have carried out, you can say, real estate construction on the river flood plains. तो कहीं ना कहीं river flood plains के ऊपर आपने जो है ये कंस्ट्रक्शन किया है. ओके, that's the problematic part. That's the problematic part. We should not have done that. Okay, हमें वो चीज बिल्कुल भी नहीं करनी चाहिए थी. Why I am saying this? Because river has a natural flow. एक river का एक natural flow होता है. We should not disturb that. Okay, but somehow we have carried out that thing, and that's the problematic thing here. तो कहीं ना कहीं हमने वो चीज की है और उसका नुकसान हमें हो रहा है, because river natural flow, natural path that river used to have, it is not happening right now. Their river is not following that natural path that it used to follow. So this is one of the problem. Other problem you can say is related to the dam management. Why this is a major problem here and why it is associated with the urban flooding? So dam management, it's a problem in the sense there is lack of coordination between the local authorities and the dam management authorities. तो local authorities और dam management authorities के बीच में there is no coordination. Okay, so water will be released from back, dam authority will release the water from the back, and local authorities might not be prepared for that. आपकी लोकल अथॉरिटी उसके लिए प्रिपेयर नहीं होगी, पीछे से पानी आ जाएगा, एंड आफ्टर दैट रेन्स आर ऑल्सो गोइंग टू ऐड टू द प्रॉब्लम. दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर टर्निंग अप. Then other problem that you have to understand is the problem of urban heat islands. Okay, urban heat islands. Now this is also a problematic part here, that we have urban heat islands, we have created urban heat islands, and because of that rainfall is increasing in urban areas. कहीं ना कहीं अर्बन एरियाज के अंदर भी रेनफॉल जो है वो इंक्रीज हो रहा है. That's the point here. Okay, rainfall is increasing in the urban areas because we have created those urban heat islands. कहीं ना कहीं हमने वो urban heat islands जो हैं वो बनाए हैं, and they are creating problems. Okay, they are creating a major problem. This is what you have to understand. That's the problem we have pointed out. Okay, inadequate drainage infrastructure we have dealt. Terrain alteration, now we have like real estate के चक्कर में हमने terrain को alter कर दिया है, river flood plains पे अब concrete का system लगा दिया है आपने. Okay, that's the point. A reduction seepage, that I told you that today you have concrete system, concrete jungle we are creating, and as we are creating the concrete jungle, the water percolation has gone down. Okay, तो पानी कहीं ना कहीं percolate नहीं हो रहा है, water percolation has gone down. That's the problematic part here. Then you need to understand lax implementation. Now whenever we talk about implementation of, you can say, different measures, those are also not taken up on time. कहीं ना कहीं वो measure भी time पे नहीं लिए जाते हैं. For example, if we see, say we want to clean the drains, आप पहले drains को clean करना चाहते हो. Okay, initially we will find that before the rainy season, before the monsoon, drains are not cleaned. Now ये normally हमें देखने को मिलता है, ठीक है ना? And as those drains are not clean, definitely there will be water logging because of that. कहीं ना कहीं वहाँ से water logging होती है. Okay, so this is how it is creating problem. वहाँ से problem हमें नजर आ रही है, ठीक है जी. Then encroaching the natural spaces, we are encroaching upon the natural space. Okay, so it is problematic. It is problematic. कहीं ना कहीं ये problematic है कि हम natural spaces के अंदर आके problem create कर रहे हैं, ठीक है ना? And we are disturbing the ecology for the development. Okay, but the point is this, we cannot undermine the development as well. हम development को भी undermine नहीं कर सकते हैं, ठीक है ना? So both things are important for us. Okay, development is also important for us, ecology is also important for us. So both are important and we cannot undermine each one of them. कि आप singularly एक चीज को undermine कर दो, वो चीज हम यहाँ पे बिल्कुल भी नहीं कर सकते हैं. This is the point that we have to understand. Okay. So Sukanya is asking, sir, what is the meaning of, exact meaning of urban heat island? See what is happening. We are constructing buildings in urban areas. Okay, we are constructing buildings in urban areas. So what is happening? The heat reception capacity of building is more. Heat absorption capacity of building is more. ओके, सो अर्बन एरिया की जो हीट है वो ज्यादा, अर्बन एरिया में जो बिल्डिंग्स हैं, कंक्रीट की बिल्डिंग्स हैं, दे आर एब्जॉर्बिंग हीट्स. So in this way it is creating a problem of urban heat islands. Now when you are absorbing heat, it means that temperature will be higher. Okay, temperature will be higher means that low pressure will be developed. As the low pressure will be developed, it means that chances of heavy rains in urban pockets are more. तो urban pockets के अंदर ज्यादा बारिश हो जाती है, ठीक है ना? अर्बन पॉकेट्स में ज्यादा बारिश हो जाती है, एंड दैट्स द प्रॉब्लम हियर. ओके, दिस इज व्हाट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट. I hope it is clear to you. Now that was the thing. So Anusri saying, sir, also not absorb in urban areas because beach roads and building. Yes, absolutely right. So we are constructing, we are carrying out the construction. That's the concrete jungle we are creating. Okay, तो कहीं ना कहीं हमें concrete का जंगल बना रहे हैं, and that's the problematic thing here. This is what it was about. Now we'll move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं, देखते हैं और क्या खास है यहाँ पे. Okay. So here we are moving towards next point. That's your editorial. सीधा हम editorial पे आएंगे और देखेंगे क्या है आज का editorial. Okay. So here we are heading towards it. Now Uh, Gorbachev, macroeconomics, and Gandhi. So Gorbachev, he was a leader of Soviet Union. Okay, so under his leadership, major reforms were introduced, major political and the, you can say, economic reforms that were introduced during the Gorbachev's time. So as these reforms were introduced, okay, तो इनके time पे ये reforms जो आते हैं, and that led to the disintegration of USSR, because those reforms basically destabilized the political environment in USSR, और कहीं ना कहीं वहां से disintegration हुआ था. So that was the, you can say, black spot in his career. गोर्बाचोव को लेके ये point हमेशा बोला जाता है that he was somehow responsible for this because he carried out two reforms simultaneously. And there also this debate started that we should not carry out political and economic reforms simultaneously. Okay, so take example of China. Now China carried out the economic reforms, but China didn't carry out the political reforms. It is still being governed by the same old system. Okay. USSR did something different. USSR brought in political, means democratic reforms, as well as the economic reforms, opening up of economy, and that led to the major destability in the USSR. और वहां से फिर disintegration की पूरी story जो है वो start होती है. So this was the major point here. Okay, this was the key point that we have to understand. वही reason था. So here things are being pointed about Gorbachev, what was his outlook, and here in this editorial few things are also pointed out regarding the capitalism. तो थोड़ी बात जो है यहाँ पे capitalism के ऊपर भी की गई है. So let's look into this point, what exactly it is about. Okay, so देखते हैं ये क्या है यहाँ पे. The concept of free trade, financial freedom and privatization are not the right solution for India's citizen. This is what they are talking about. Okay, they are talking about this thing that we cannot go ahead with the blind privatization, we cannot go ahead with the blind free trade. Okay, free trade means that there are chances that government may end up getting less revenue. Free trade means that your domestic producer will be impacted by that. Okay, so these are the decisions that we have to take here. So here they are talking about few things that in 20th century there were multiple debates that were carried out regarding communism, which government is better, communist government or the democratic government, socialism, okay, capitalism. Those things were discussed, and we had a Washington model, that is US and the Western model, that is primarily based on the capitalist system. Okay, तो वो बिल्कुल जो है वो capitalism के ऊपर based होता है. This is what the point was about. Russia was tragically overrun by global capitalism. China took its own course with remarkable results. These were the outcomes. Okay, so when Russians carried out their opening up their economy, so they had different problems to deal with. Chinese were really successful in reaping benefits out of the opening up of economy. This is how things were. ये सारी चीजें थी यहाँ पे. Okay, so that's the debate here. Now there is another point you have to understand. At present it is the information age. Okay, and the business leadership is really very powerful. Business leaders across the world, they are very powerful, they are very influential, they can influence the government's policy. Okay, they can influence the government's policy. This is how things are. वो बहुत powerful हैं, वो government की policy को भी influence कर सकते हैं, this and that. So here it is said that like $1 owned gives 1 vote in governance, and $1 million gives 1 million vote. This is how things are. So person who is rich at present, he has a higher say. Okay, जो आज की डेट में थोड़ा पैसे हैं जिनके पास, उनकी ज्यादा से है. That's the point here. ठीक है ना? That's the point here. Okay, whereas the democratic principles of human rights requires that every human being, black, white or whether billionaire, has equal vote in governance. Governance has, the democratic principles have different outlook, and the economic outlook is slightly different. Okay, तो वो तो कहती है economic outlook जिसके पास पैसा ज़्यादा है वो ज़्यादा influential है, but it is not right approach. Okay, it is not a right approach. कहीं ना कहीं ये approach जो है आपकी गलत है. This is what the point was. Governments of countries represent the interests of millions, even billions of people, their countries. On the other side, in the dispute are few investors of capital. Now this is how things are turning up, that this dispute is also emerging, investors versus government. Okay, Other point that we have to understand, today investors are really very important for any country, because all the countries, they need financial investors. Okay, those investors will facilitate development. This is how things are considered. Okay, so investors are considered important, so that's why their importance have increased in the present time, and as they are important, so they can definitely influence the policies of the government. गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसीज को भी ये जरूर जो है इन्फ्लुएंस कर सकते हैं. दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट वाज. ओके, बट वी कैन नॉट अंडरमाइन द रोल ऑफ गवर्नमेंट एज वेल. सरकार का रोल तो बिल्कुल रहेगा ही रहेगा, बिकॉज इट इज द गवर्नमेंट विच विल बी अपहोल्डिंग द इक्विटी प्रिंसिपल्स, विच विल बी लुकिंग इनटू द एथिकल गवर्नेंस. ओके, सो गवर्नमेंट के रोल को हम कहीं पे भी अंडरमाइन नहीं कर सकते हैं. दैट्स द पॉइंट हियर. वी कैन नॉट सीरियसली अंडरमाइन द रोल ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट हियर. दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर क्वाइट क्लियर. एंड एफिशिएंसी, प्रोडक्टिविटी, all these things are important. Okay, all these things are important, and somehow your public administration, that is your government, they have to play the major role. उनका रोल यहाँ पे मेजर, यहाँ पे कहीं ना कहीं नजर आता है. ठीक है ना, we cannot undermine their role at all. This is how things are. Okay, this is how things are. So that's the debate here, that capitalism is fine, but you cannot undermine the role of the government. Okay, public sector की अपनी importance है, and public sector has this responsibility to basically regulate the private sector. Okay, तो कहीं ना कहीं regulate करने का काम इनका है यहाँ पे. Okay, public sector have to act as a facilitator. Public sector को facilitator का काम करना है यहाँ पे. They have to facilitate that environment, that development where private sectors can work and they can flourish, जहां पे प्राइवेट सेक्टर काम कर सके और उसके बाद फ्लरिश कर सकें. दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर. ओके, दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर. द डिफिकल्ट पाथ टू इंडिया पाकिस्तान पीस, लेट्स मूव टू दैट. सो हियर things are a bit different. So we abrogated article 370. Okay, so we did that, and Pakistan people, they had problem for because of that. कहीं ना कहीं उनको इससे प्रॉब्लम भी थी कि इंडिया यूनिलेटरली चेंज द होल सिनेरियो. ओके, कि कहीं ना कहीं इंडिया ने जो है वो सिनेरियो थोड़ा चेंज कर दिया. नाउ द पॉइंट इज दिस, at present Pakistani economy is under stress. Okay, plus there are massive floods that have happened in Pakistan, covering nearly 1/3 of the area of the country. Okay, इतने जबरदस्त floods थे वहां पे. So this is how like things have turned up. Now you have to understand one thing. This is just one thing we have realized, कि यहाँ पे ये पाकिस्तान की ये प्रॉब्लम है. सो थिंग्स आर लाइक दिस, मीन्स दे हैव दिस इंटरेस्ट टू हैव इम्प्रूवमेंट इन देयर रिलेशंस विद इंडिया. अगर थोड़ा दिमाग लगाएंगे तो यू विल फाइंड दैट दे शुड रियलाइज कि इंडिया के साथ रिलेशन को इम्प्रूव करने में भलाई है. बट दिस इज द कंपल्शन, डोमेस्टिक कंपल्शन ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट इन पावर. सो domestic sentiments are seriously against India, and primarily on the Kashmir issue. So government that is in power in Pakistan have this dilemma how to further strengthen relations with India. एक तरफ ये है कि इंडिया के साथ रिलेशन आपको बेटर करने हैं, ठीक है, वो प्रॉब्लम आती है कहीं ना कहीं. other point is this that you have to improve your economy as well, because the economic health of Pakistan is also not good. That's the other angle. Okay, पाकिस्तान की इकोनॉमी भी जो है वो कुछ खास अच्छी नहीं चल रही है, तो ये भी एक प्रॉब्लम नजर आती है यहाँ पे. ठीक है ना, दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर. दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर. ओके, so here you have to understand that the government of the day in Pakistan is failing to manage the domestic audience in Pakistan, and peace is still very distant. Okay, this is the problem that the government of the day in Pakistan will be facing. Now at one point they need assistance from India. कहीं ना कहीं इंडिया से हेल्प की भी जरूरत है. Okay, they need to, you can say, have good trade ties with India. Without that, you can say, you cannot improve your economy. This is the dilemma. Other point is this, the sentiments of the people in Pakistan related to Kashmir. So these things are very difficult to manage by the government in Pakistan. And there are some developments that recently some back channel talks have also been going on. Okay, so it was decided regarding the trade resumption between India and Pakistan. So even the Pakistani army, they have some realization on that point. Okay, so they realize that their economy is in mess. So at present, you need some assistance from India. This is how things were. This was to help alleviate some of the stresses on Pakistan's failing and cash-strapped domestic economy that was veering on the edge of default in the face of widening current account deficit and high inflation. तो कहीं ना कहीं करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट बढ़ रहा है, इन्फ्लेशन भी ज्यादा है वहां पे, ओके, फ्यूल प्राइसेस आर इंक्रीजिंग, सो ऑल दोज प्रॉब्लम्स पाकिस्तान इज डीलिंग एट प्रेजेंट. IMF हैव बीन प्रोवाइडिंग से $6 billion के अराउंड उनको मिल जाएगा पाकिस्तान को, बट दैट इज इनएडिक्वेट बिकॉज द प्रॉब्लम्स दैट दे हैव आर ह्यूज. बहुत ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम्स है, एंड वन ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम इज दिस, द बजट एक्सपेंडिचर दैट दे हैव. नाउ डिफेंस इज अ मेजर कंपोनेंट इन देयर बजट एक्सपेंडिचर. जो भी सरकार को बजट खर्च करना होता है, डिफेंस का एक अच्छा खासा शेयर होता है, एंड इट्स अ प्रॉब्लमेटिक थिंग. मींस द सेम मनी कुड हैव बीन यूज्ड फॉर द डेवलपमेंट एंड दे आर यूजिंग इट इन द डिफेंस इंडस्ट्री. दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज अबाउट. ओके, नाउ IMF have promised they will be providing some additional funds. Okay, so in all total 6 बिलियन के राउंड हो जाएगा, बट यहाँ पे एक एडिशनल जो है फंड उनको मिलेगा. दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर. So they will have some relief, but the point is this relief is not, you can say, free relief. It is with some conditions. वो conditions पाकिस्तान को fulfill करनी पड़ेंगी. That's the point here, and that will somehow appearing to be difficult. वो चीज शायद डिफिकल्ट हो सकती है, because IMF will ask them to, you can say, change the priorities, and whether the government in Pakistan will be able to, you can say, change the priority or shift the priority away from security needs. क्या वाकई ऐसा पॉसिबल है? This is what they have to look into. Okay, domestic pressures are definitely going to be there. They have to work it out. They have to, you can say, explain things to the Pakistani society that it is in the interest of the country to have good trade relations with India. It is the role that they have to do. ये काम उनके ऊपर है कि उनको ऐसी चीज करनी है. In the past, India did help Pakistan. We provided essential vaccine to Pakistan. So we will definitely look forward to have good trade relations with Pakistan. हमें कुछ खास problem नहीं है. It is up to them to decide. Okay, it is up to them to decide what they want. That's the major point here. Now, leader equations, those things are also very critical here. Okay, so when it comes to the Kashmir issue, things are very difficult. Now, Pakistan's leadership cannot take that political risk to go ahead or to undermine the Kashmir issue. वो रिस्क वो बिल्कुल भी नहीं ले सकते हैं कि भी कश्मीर को नीचे कर देंगे. ऐसा रिस्क पाकिस्तान के पॉलिटिशियंस, they cannot take that. This is what the point is about. Okay, so as soon as they try to do some adventurism related to Kashmir, they try to take some bold action on Kashmir, the people of the Pakistan, they will dislike and they will somehow throw them out of the government. उनको शायद बाहर निकाल दिया जाएगा. This is how things are going to be. Okay, so that's the point here. That's the point here. Other thing that you have to understand, public health need not to be led by doctors alone. This is what this editorial is about. Okay, so when we talk about health professionals, so you have to have a broader definition of health professionals, and you have to include ASHA workers, Anganwadi workers in that, because they are also regularly, you can say, their help is taken while, you can say, implementing any medical related scheme and program. तो उनकी help अक्सर ली जाती है. So we cannot have just a, you can say, narrow definition of health professionals. तो थोड़ा तो broad हमें सोचना पड़ेगा. This is what the point it is making. Okay, that's the point it is making. So let's discuss this editorial in detail. देखते हैं अब इसके अंदर और क्या चीज है. So they are saying that you have to have this understanding that medical profession needs some separate competencies, and we need to work upon that. But to bring in the training related to these separate competencies, you have to have a proper definition. आपको एक तो definition लेके आने की जरूरत है. Other point is this, whenever we talk about public health, now it is a multidisciplinary, different meanings can be there. Okay, just by focusing or narrow definition of MBBS, it is not, you can say, sufficient, because here central government guidelines specifically mentions that MBBS degree is prerequisite to become a public health specialist. Now the point is this is how this particular narrow definition is leading to the exclusion of grassroots public health workers, ASHA workers, auxiliary nurse midwives, multi-purpose workers, etc., etc., etc. We cannot rule them out because they are also important part of the medical system or public health system that we have in this country. उनका रोल भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है हमारे लिए. तो जब तक हम उनको डेफिनेशन में लेंगे नहीं, तो वी विल नॉट बी एबल टू वर्क अपॉन देयर ट्रेनिंग. उनकी ट्रेनिंग के ऊपर हम काम नहीं कर पाएंगे. दैट्स द पॉइंट हियर. ओके, so providing medical care at a primary health center does not make the person a public health professional. And also, health workers have no training in public health. They are grassroots level service providers. Okay, they have no training in public health. They are grassroots level service providers. That's the point here. ठीक है ना, उनकी इंपॉर्टेंस है यहाँ पे, आप उसको अंडरमाइन नहीं कर सकते. ग्रासरूट लेवल पे तो वही प्रेजेंट है. सो स्पेसिफिकली लाइक वी हैव टू हैव प्रॉपर डेफिनेशन and we have to, you can say, work upon these areas. Means when we talk about academics, जो research होती है, जो education होती है, उसको लेके facilitation करना चाहिए. Okay, so education पे काम होना चाहिए, activism पे काम होना चाहिए. That public health, it is linked to the social change as well. Social change in the sense you have to change the mindset of the people. You have to go for the mobilization. जनता को मोबिलाइज करना वो जरूरी है. सोशल मोबिलाइजेशन इज रिक्वायर्ड एट द ग्रास रूट लेवल, एट द कम्युनिटी लेवल, एंड दैट कैन नॉट बी डन विदाउट द हेल्प ऑफ दीज आंगनवाड़ी एंड आशा वर्कर्स. इनकी हेल्प के बिना ये चीज करना थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है. दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज अबाउट. ओके, सो वी नीड टू हैव दिस आउटलुक. नाउ दिस रिक्वायर्स ग्राउंडिंग in social and behavioral sciences. It also includes the study of how non-health determinants, including social and commercial factors, influence health and how these can be addressed. This is how the point is. Okay, administration refers to administering health system at different levels. It is not just that you work upon one level. आपने सिर्फ tertiary sector पे काम कर दिया, बड़े बड़े hospitals बना लिए. No, you have to have this arrangement at the grassroots level, at the village level, by further improving the primary health centers as well. So district level पे जो आपके primary health centers हैं, उसको भी आपको improve करना पड़ेगा. That's the point here. We cannot simply undermine their importance. You have to work upon requirement of human resource. You have to make sure that logistics supplies are there. You have to make sure that all other requirements are adequately addressed. Without providing them with adequate equipment at the grassroots level, at the primary healthcare center level, we cannot have a proper, you can say, public health system. That's the requirement here. हर छोटी छोटी चीज आपको पहुंचानी पड़ेगी. You have to increase the funding. बजट इंक्रीज करना पड़ेगा. दैट्स द पॉइंट हियर. ओके, बजट आपको इंक्रीज करना पड़ेगा, वो पॉइंट समझना जरूरी है. ठीक है जी. सो द फाइनल फंक्शन इज रिलेटेड टू एडवोकेसी एट डिफरेंट लेवल्स. नाउ इन पब्लिक हेल्थ देयर इज अ लिटिल दैट वन कैन डू एट द इंडिविजुअल लेवल. सो देयर हैव टू बी अ कलेक्टिव एफर्ट. इंडिविजुअली आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते, आपको एक कलेक्टिव एफर्ट लेके आना पड़ेगा. सबके साथ मिलके आपको इस चीज को करना पड़ेगा. दैट्स द पॉइंट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. यू नीड टू हैव गुड कम्युनिकेशन, यू नीड टू हैव गुड नेगोशिएशन स्किल्स. All those things are required. वो सारी चीजें आपको यहाँ पे करनी जरूरी है. ठीक है ना. So related subjects are public health, health economics, health advocacy, health, global health. All those things are to be looked into. Globally आपको interact करना पड़ेगा WHO के साथ and all those things. Okay. So all things are required here. You cannot just by having a single working arrangement, by just focusing on the MBBS doctors, आपको सारी solution नहीं मिलेंगे. सबको साथ में लेके काम करने की जरूरत है. दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज अबाउट. ओके, सो अनुश्री इज आस्किंग दिस डाउट, सर व्हाट अबाउट डन गवर्नमेंट फॉर इलीगल कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑन रिवर प्लेन्स. ओके, सो अनुश्री बोल रही हैं कि भी बताइए रिवर प्लेन के अंदर क्या हमें करना चाहिए इलीगल कंस्ट्रक्शन को रोकने के लिए. सी अनु, आई एम टेलिंग यू दिस थिंग, लॉज आर ऑलरेडी इन प्लेस. ओके, जब हम रिवर प्लेन की बात करते हैं, लॉज ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्ट करते हैं. But in India, because the governance is poor, okay, no one is having fear in their mind for violating the law. किसी को डर ही नहीं है कानून को violate करने से पहले. Okay, this is how the problem is. So we need to work upon the governance point. सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी है गवर्नेंस के ऊपर काम करना. कानून ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्ट करता होगा, इलीगल ही होगा वहां पे एक्टिविटी करना. सो यू हैव NGT वर्किंग हियर. आई होप यू रिमेंबर देयर वाज अ फेमस केस रिलेटेड टू यमुना फ्लड प्लेन्स. ओके, यमुना फ्लड प्लेन्स के ऊपर कोई एक प्रोग्राम करवाया गया था. वेरी वेरी प्रेस्टिजियस यू कैन से ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इन इंडिया, and they organized a program on the Yamuna flood plains. Okay, I cannot take the name of that organization. So this is how things were done, and it was a clear violation of environmental norms. Environmental norms को वहां पे कहीं ना कहीं violate भी किया गया था, and like the major problem was that governance poor थी. तो एनजीटी imposed fine, एनजीटी ने वहां पे फाइन लगाया फिर उसके बाद, ठीक है ना. So this is how things are. We need to work upon these things. So your next question is, sir, in Pakistan democracy survive or taking a responsibility by Pak government? Okay, see, the point is different in Pakistan. Pakistan is a very complex society and a very complex country. Okay, so country in the sense the army is really very strong institution in Pakistan, even stronger than the bureaucracy. तो आर्मी वहां पे काफी strong institution माना जाता है. This is how things are, and they dominate. Okay, they dominate. So intelligence agencies in Pakistan, they do try to influence the political process. वहां पे जरूर political process intelligence agencies control करती हैं या influence करती हैं. So they try to have a favorable government. Okay, वो उस गवर्नमेंट को फेवर करती हैं which will support the Pakistan army, which will not talk about, you can say, peaceful relations with India, etc, etc, etc. So in this way they try to work upon that. And there is another third group that we have, that is religious organizations. So these religious organizations, they are also very strong. Okay, ये भी काफी strong है यहाँ पे. So in these way Pakistan polity is divided. Now we cannot outrightly say that they don't have democracy. तो थोड़ी बहुत democracy भी है, थोड़ी बहुत autocracy भी है, थोड़ा बहुत military domination भी है. Okay, this is how things are working in Pakistan. वहां पे एक जुगाड़ चलता है, वो ये जुगाड़ है, complex जुगाड़ है वो, ठीक है जी. This is how things are there. So let's move to the next editorial. आगे पे चलते हैं. So funding public education. Okay, so here these things are being pointed out. Now multiple times this debate has emerged whether we should have public funded institutions or not. Okay, so we had multiple committees. So take example of Kothari committee on education. It has said that there should be 6% of the GDP should be spent on the education. Okay, that was the goal. You have further, you can say, new education policy, that is NEP 2020. It also have the same target. इनका भी target यही है कि आपको इतना % spend करना चाहिए. Okay, and then the further it is saying that at least 2% need to be spent on, you can say, higher education. Okay, but at present statistics are different. We are not spending, public spending on higher education is minimal, and you will be very astonished to listen to this, that it is in some case even 0.33 or 0.5% of our GDP. तो जितना रिक्वायर्ड है उससे भी हम बहुत नीचे स्पेंड कर रहे हैं हायर एजुकेशन के ऊपर. मींस पब्लिक स्पेंडिंग ऑन हायर एजुकेशन, इट इज मिनिमल, it is not visible at all. That's the problematic thing here. Okay, so here they are pointing out about these things that we need to work upon. We need to have proper expenditure on higher education. उसको भी हमें जानना, उसके ऊपर आगे लेके जाना, वो बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. This is what the point is. Okay, so new education policy 2020, like it promote increased access, equity, and inclusion through a range of measures, including greater opportunities for outstanding public education. दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज अबाउट. पैसे के बिना कुछ नहीं होगा, आपको थोड़ा फंडिंग तो बढ़ाना पड़ेगा. एजुकेशन बजट जो है, यू हैव टू इंक्रीज इट. सो एज आई टोल्ड यू अबाउट दिस थिंग, इट इज नॉट द फर्स्ट टाइम वी हैव दिस टारगेट ऑफ 6% ऑफ जीडीपी एक्सपेंडिचर ऑन एजुकेशन. बहुत टाइम से ये चल रहा है, बट वी फाइंड इट टू बी, यू कैन से, स्टिल नॉट रीचिंग अप टू दिस. अभी भी हम इस पे नहीं पहुंच पाए हैं, ये प्रॉब्लम है. एंड अदर पॉइंट इज दिस, वी कैन नॉट लीव एवरीथिंग टू द प्राइवेट सेक्टर. ओके, हर चीज आप प्राइवेट सेक्टर के हाथ में नहीं छोड़ सकते हो. यू नीड टू हैव अ प्रॉपर वर्किंग पब्लिक सेक्टर एक्सपेंडिचर एज वेल. सरकारी स्कूल भी जरूरी है, बिकॉज प्राइवेट सेक्टर, द प्रॉब्लम विल बी दैट अफोर्डेबिलिटी ऑफ द एजुकेशन माइट नॉट बी देयर. इफ द एजुकेशन इज नॉट अफोर्डेबल बाय ऑल, देन वी कैन नॉट हैव द यूनिवर्सल एजुकेशन. आप फिर यूनिवर्सल एजुकेशन की भी बात नहीं कर सकते हो. ओके, सो दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज अबाउट. That's why public spending on education is important right now. This is the angle that we have here. Okay, and here, like I told you about this thing, National Education Commission, also known as Kothari Commission, it has said that at least 2% of the GDP need to be spent on higher education. But the things are really very alarming. So here we have this data in 2019-20, the budget estimate says that it is only 0.52% that we are spending on higher education. So आप यहाँ पे क्या कर रहे हो, आप सिर्फ स्कूल्स पे फोकस कर रहे हो. यू आर नॉट फोकसिंग ऑन द कॉलेजेस. ओके, एंड दैट्स द प्रॉब्लमैटिक थिंग. एंड अदर देन दैट, वी आर ऑल्सो कॉम्प्रोमाइजिंग ऑन द क्वालिटी एज वेल. टिल द टाइम you don't have quality recruitment of teachers, जब तक टीचर अच्छे नहीं लगेंगे इसके अंदर, तो यू कैन नॉट हैव द क्वालिटी एजुकेशन सिस्टम इन द कंट्री. दिस इज हाउ द प्रॉब्लम इज अबाउट. Okay, this is what the problem is about. And to have a quality teachers, you have to give them higher wages, and for that you need to have more expenditure on the means more expenditure by the government sector. Okay, this is what the point is about. So as I told you, we are just planning to go for privatization. आंख बंद करके प्राइवेटाइजेशन के ऊपर हमारा फोकस है, प्राइवेट स्कूल्स. बट द पॉइंट इज दिस, व्हाट अबाउट द अफोर्डेबिलिटी? दैट इज ऑल्सो टू बी लुक्ड इनटू. उस अफोर्डेबिलिटी के ऊपर भी फोकस करना हमारे लिए बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. दैट्स द पॉइंट हियर. ओके, दैट्स द पॉइंट हियर. दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव टू एड्रेस. दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव टू एड्रेस. So we cannot undermine the importance of public sector expenditure on the education. This is what this editorial was about. Now seat belts, head restraints and the safety regulations. Okay, so primarily like we are focusing on seat belt and the road safety because of the death of Cyrus Mistry, a former Tata, you can say, chairman. So primarily now this has highlighted the importance of wearing seat belts even at the back seat. Okay, so back seat के ऊपर भी seat belt लगाना जो है वो जरूरी है यहाँ पे. This is what the point is about. Normally we don't see people wearing seat belt on the back seat. Okay, and they do compromise on the safety. They do compromise on the safety. So ये problem एक हमेशा नजर आती है यहाँ पे. ठीक है ना? So what should be done at the government level? We can only frame rules. So government can frame rules. Even wearing seat belts at the back seat can be made compulsory. Okay, वो भी compulsory बनाया जा सकती है. So here are some statistics that are being pointed out. Now nearly it is saying multiple accidents have happened in this country. Okay, every year multiple accidents they take place. And they have this data of 2017. So in 2017 they said that nearly 26,896 people lost their life because of not wearing seat belts. Okay, they were not wearing seat belts, and 16,876 of them were passengers. Means 16,000 were sitting next to the driver. वो ड्राइवर के साथ बैठे थे और सीट बेल्ट नहीं लगा रखी थी. And this is the statistic that we have. Now it is really very alarming that we have this statistics. People are dying in such a large number. तो इतने लार्ज नंबर में लोग मर रहे हैं और ये हमारे लिए एक प्रॉब्लमेटिक चीज है. Why I am saying this? Because it's an economic loss. ये एक इकोनॉमिक लॉस है. Okay, that's the point here. Now suppose roughly 27,000 people are dying in the road accident in cars. सिर्फ कार में मर रहे हैं. ठीक है ना? 27,000. Say take example, they have an insurance of 1 lakh. हर एक का 1 लाख का इंश्योरेंस भी हो. So you will end up adding this much money. This is the number that is there. The number is quite huge. The same money can be. आप इस लाइफ को सेव करो. दिस लाइफ इज इंपॉर्टेंट. दिस लाइफ इज कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटिंग टू योर इकोनॉमी. आपकी इकोनॉमी में वो कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटर है. सी हूसोएवर इज हैविंग अ कार, इट मींस ही हैज सर्टेन अमाउंट ऑफ इनकम. थोड़ी बहुत इनकम तो है. ओके, एंड ही इज अ कंट्रीब्यूटर टू द इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट एज वेल. सो वी कैन नॉट अंडरमाइन दिस पॉइंट. इस पॉइंट को हम बिल्कुल भी अंडरमाइन नहीं कर सकते हैं. एंड वी नीड टू वर्क अपॉन रोड सेफ्टी. दैट्स द रिक्वायरमेंट. वो आज की डेट में हमारी रिक्वायरमेंट है. दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज. ओके, दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज. सो विल मूव टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट. आगे चलते हैं यहाँ पे. सो a ban on conversion therapy for the LGBTQ plus community. Okay, so they do go for the conversion therapy, and sometimes parents also force them to go for conversion therapy. Okay, but it is somehow dangerous. So this is what this directive is out, that the National Medical Commission, it is directing the state medical councils to work upon this. Okay, so this is being treated as a professional misconduct by doctors if they allow or if they themselves do these surgeries. So this is how things are. And these therapies are considered to be dangerous. Okay, तो ये चीज dangerous मानी जाती है. That's the point here. Other than that, there is nothing much on this page. Now, pacts on water, power, defense are likely. Hasina is coming in. She's in Delhi. The point I'm making here is this: Bangladesh, you can say, yesterday we pointed out some facts. Bangladesh is a client of China when it comes to arms import. Okay, हथियार खरीदने की बात आती है, वेपन खरीदने की बात आती है, तो आफ्टर पाकिस्तान बांग्लादेश इज द सेकंड वन जो चाइना से हथियार ले रहा है. दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज अबाउट. सो वी हैव टू हैव दिस डिफेंस टाइज विद बांग्लादेश. वो हमारे लिए बहुत जरूरी है. देयर आर सम डिफरेंसेस विद बोथ द कंट्रीज एंड रोहिंग्या रिहेबिलिटेशन इज सीरियसली वन ऑफ द एरिया वेयर बोथ कैन कोऑपरेट विद ईच अदर. इंडिया इज ऑल्सो प्रोवाइडिंग असिस्टेंस टू बांग्लादेश. हम बिल्कुल बांग्लादेश की हेल्प भी कर रहे हैं रोहिंग्यास को रिहेबिलिटेट करने में. ठीक है ना. सो दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर. वी आर हेल्पिंग देम आउट एज वेल. तो उनकी हेल्प भी हम कर रहे हैं. That's what the point is. Okay, that's what the point is. So she's in India. She will be signing few things, specifically river water agreements. Okay, they are very critical, and both the countries they have been able to finalize the Kushiara river agreement. Okay, so तीस्ता water dispute is still pending. तीस्ता water dispute अभी भी आज की डेट में pending है. So we need to have support from the government of West Bengal. तो West Bengal की government जब तैयार हो जाएगी, we will be able to settle the तीस्ता water dispute as well. But इट्स अ गुड थिंग. थोड़े लो हैंगिंग फ्रूट्स हम ऑलरेडी ले लेते हैं. तो कुशियारा रिवर वाटर डिस्प्यूट वी आर एबल टू डील विद. ओके, कहीं ना कहीं हम इसको संभालने में कामयाब हैं. दैट्स व्हाट द पॉइंट इज अबाउट. इट हैज ऑल्सो एग्रीड टू एक्सपेंड कोऑपरेशन टू एरियाज सच एज रिडक्शन ऑफ पोल्यूशन इन क्रॉस बॉर्डर रिवर्स. ओके, इंडिया हैज बीन शेयरिंग अ रियल टाइम फ्लड डाटा विद बांग्लादेश. ठीक है ना. इस टाइप की चीज भी कर रहे हैं. वी हैव रेडिली कोऑपरेटिंग विद ईच अदर. एक दूसरे के साथ कोऑपरेशन भी चल रहा है. बट द ओनली थिंग इज दिस, वो थोड़ी बहुत कमी रह जाती है. एंड वी कैन डेफिनेटली वर्क अपॉन दैट. ओके, उसको हम वाकई ही साथ में मिलकर कर सकते हैं. दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज. This is what the point is. So Teesta water dispute, definitely at present it is appearing to be pending, but both the countries they can specifically work upon that. दोनों साथ में मिलके काम करके उसको काफी आसानी से रिजॉल्व कर सकते हैं. Okay, this is what the point is about. This is what the point is about. So other than that there is nothing much. कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. Okay, so Tamil Nadu, Delhi CM praises each other. सो कुछ ना कुछ बनता रहता है यहाँ पे. ठीक है ना. दिस इज द स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी. डेमोक्रेसी विल इटसेल्फ ब्रिंग इन द बैलेंसिंग इक्वेशन. डेमोक्रेसी खुद ब खुद बैलेंसिंग इक्वेशन जो है वो प्रोड्यूस करती है. ठीक है जी. तो ये सारी चीज़ है जो हमें समझनी है. दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर. दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर. अदर देन दैट देर इज नथिंग मच. कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. ओके, सो सेंटर सीक्स टाइम फॉर decision on students who fled Ukraine. Okay, so their career is under doubt. उनका कुछ नहीं पता अभी क्या होगा. उनकी मेडिकल की डिग्री बीच में रह गई है. And this is how things are problematic. Okay, government have to take decision regarding this. What should be done with them? क्या करना चाहिए? कैसे उनकी हेल्प करनी चाहिए? That's the point here. Okay, that's the point here. Other than that, we have this news: preventive detention rose in 2021. Now number of cases of preventive detention have increased. It means that the curb on civil liberties have increased. कहीं ना कहीं detention का मतलब है आप civil liberties जो है किसी की curb कर रहे हो. Okay, so it means that the curb on civil liberties have gone down. कहीं ना कहीं civil liberties जो है वो कम की जा रही हैं. ये सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है यहाँ पे. ओके, बोथ आर इंपॉर्टेंट बट द लॉ शुड नॉट बी मिसयूज्ड. कानून हमारे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है लेकिन उसका मिसयूज किसी भी हालत में नहीं होना चाहिए. That's what the point is about. Okay, that's what the point is about. So other than that there is nothing much. कुछ खास नहीं यहाँ पे. Okay, so we'll move to the next part now. आगे चलते हैं. So here we have Chilean rejects the overhaul of the constitution. Okay, so they rejected this idea and they are ready to work with the older constitution. वो उसी पे ही काम करेंगे. This is how things are. Okay, so that's what the point is. There were some differences that society is expecting from the government. सोसाइटी कुछ एक्सपेक्ट कर रही थी और सरकार कुछ डिलीवर कर रही थी. तो वो थोड़ी प्रॉब्लम है यहाँ पे. ओके, दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज अबाउट. अदर देन दैट देर इज नथिंग मच. कुछ खास नहीं यहाँ पे. ओके, सो श्रीलंका वोंट एक्सेप्ट एक्सटर्नल प्रोसेस ऑन वॉर अकाउंटेबिलिटी. ओके, सो ये सब पुरानी बातें चल रही हैं. सो LTTE, दैट वाज अ organization in Sri Lanka, separatist organization, Tamilian separatist organization. It was in Sri Lanka, and the point is Sri Lankan military did carry out action against LTTE and there were some human rights violation. तो वहाँ पे कुछ human rights violation भी हुए थे. Okay, that's the problematic thing. And like there were multiple resolutions that were introduced to have a investigation of those human rights violation. Okay, so this is what Sri Lanka is saying, that they won't accept any external process. उनका internal अपना जो भी system होगा वो उसको follow करेंगे. Okay, so Mr. Z to visit Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, and like China is also having good relations with Central Asia. तो Central Asia के साथ China की अच्छी बनी बनाई है. Okay, this is how things are. China is an investor there. They all are participating in Belt and Road Initiative. BRI के अंदर सभी ये सेंट्रल एशियन कंट्रीज जो हैं वो पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं. ओके, सो दिस इज अ चैलेंज दैट वी हैव टू डील विद. इंडिया वांट्स टू हैव इट्स ओन इन्फ्लुएंस, हमें अपना इन्फ्लुएंस करना है और ये हमारे लिए एक चैलेंज है. दिस इज व्हाट द थिंग इज अबाउट. So services PMI flags rebound in August. So here are some good signs of revival of Indian economy. Okay, तो ये अच्छी चीजें हैं कि इंडियन इकोनॉमी जो है it will be revived. So काफी progressing है. And specifically the festive season is round the corner. So festive season is round the corner. It means that people are going to spend money. There will be expenditure by the people. As they will be spending money, it means that it will be good thing for the economy. Okay, so economy के लिए अच्छी चीज होगी. This is what the point is about. Other than that, there is this news: Europe heading for recession as cost of living crisis deepens. Okay, this is what the point is about. Now Europe is seriously under crisis because the gas supply is not coming from Russia, and the winters are approaching there. Okay, so as winters will be coming, so Europe will be under a serious, you can say, economic crisis. This is what the point is about. So they were more dependent, and European economies are majorly hit by this. Interdependence of economies within the European countries are more, and here it is developing into this type of crisis. Okay, so ये सारी problem कहीं ना कहीं हमें नजर आती है. This is what the point is about. So that's it for the day then. Thank you very much.